Jason Hawes has just dropped a tell-all interview with Andrew Stonerock over on Andrew Stonerock's YouTube channel, where he basically gives the ins and outs of the never-before-asked questions regarding the GoFundMe that has now become so popular with regards to the Conjuring house that it is literally making national news over in America. It's kind of insane what is going on right now. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get into it, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. You know, you got to do all of that stuff as well. But let's talk about how this first of all came about, because it didn't just come out of the blue, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you. First of all, Andrew Stonerock dropped this is Andrew Stonerock's YouTube channel if you haven't seen it. I'm going to say as well, I'm not going to be using clips from the podcast episode or the interview. You need to go and watch it for yourself if you want to get the ins and outs of it. So, Andrew dropped this YouTube video a couple of days ago, Red Flags, the new Conjuring House controversy, basically where he talks about the current situation with regards to the Conjuring House. We're very well versed in it right now, and if you're not, you're going to have to go back and check out the latest videos, because there is a lot to this to dive into. Maybe I'll make a wrap-up video at some point if I need to, if people aren't kind of fully on board, but I'm not sure if I'm going to need to just yet. Anyway, he makes this video, talks about his concerns with regards to the Conjuring House, and in the description, or in the comments section, sorry, of the, actually, I think it came from an article that Andrew found, which kind of spurred him on to make the video. In the comments section, Jason highlights a comment here which states, valid concerns. This person is more than welcome to reach out to me. I would have gladly discussed any of this with them. As for the donation, not investment, the decision was because GoFundMe takes a 2.9% stake, so they basically take 2.9% of the final amount sold. So let's say, for example, hypothetically, it's $100,000. They will take, what's that, $2,900 from it? Yeah, I think that maths works out. Let's just, do that for ease. So using that would mean that they take 12k directly from the platform. Right, okay, yeah, so there you go, there's the math there. There is no partner. Satori and Cody have no stake/ownership in the property. I'd happily discuss this with this person or anyone. I've tried to be 100% transparent with everything. As for the other teams doing GoFundMe accounts to purchase the property, I see no issue with that. If it saves the property from becoming inaccessible due to prices, then I'd fully support that. The only reason that I'm involved is because I was begged to be, obviously, of course, by Andrea Perrin. This will have past employees and owners assisting to keep the property running. Erin, Jen, Corey, etc. As we know, they were the previous property owners. As for the cost, it would be a fraction of the past cost, which was around $2,500 as per the side-eye guy. This was not a business venture for me. I sort of was thrown into this and wanted to make it accessible for everyone. I can't lead a business without a plan and without knowing my actual cost. Hope this helps. Thanks, to which Andrew Stonerock responds, thanks for responding. If you want to discuss, let me know. I want everything to be 100% transparent. Every penny is being raised to go to the property. And then Jason responds to a few other people. But obviously, there was a conversation going on behind the scenes because Andrew Stonerock posts on his community tab right here that he's got a video call with Jason Hawes yesterday at the time of recording at 12 p.m. EST. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please put them in the comments below. And then talks about how he's got the questions lined up. And then the video dropped, and it was an unfiltered, raw edit video, no editing whatsoever. And it resulted in The Truth About GoFundMe, featuring Jason Hawes. Okay, now I'm going to kind of go through the nooks and crannies of this. Obviously, I'm not going to be showing the full thing, so to save a bit of integrity to the original video. So if you want to get the ins and outs of it all, you're going to have to go and check out the original video over on Andrew Stonerock's YouTube channel right now. But let's talk about it. So first of all, it talks about, obviously, the Conjuring House controversy. So the Conjuring House has sparked a debate within the paranormal community due to its issues involving the GoFundMe campaign, secret investors, and the questions about the property ownership, leading to public outrage and confusion. Now, obviously, the GoFundMe campaigns will raise eyebrows and concerns because people are like, well, if Jason can afford it, why is he asking the community to help? And he's expressively stated that Jason explicitly said that, I'm only getting people involved because if I put all of my money into it, I need to get that money back. that means that the prices are going to have to be higher. Whereas if people can help out, then they can keep the prices low. And then with regards to the private investors or secret investors, that is with regards to the $400,000 investment that's been issued by a secret donor should the GoFundMe reach $600,000. And then obviously, of course, the questions about the property ownership leading to public outrage and confusion, like I've stated. Now, Jason Hawes' involvement as well. So Jason Hawes is a plumber by trade and a figure in the paranormal community. He stepped in to address the controversy following a plea from Andrea Perrin, aiming to preserve the house, and he emphasizes his transparency and lack of prior involvement in the property. With regards to the GoFundMe details, the initial confusion about the fundraising goal is $600,000 versus $700,000 due to Jason's miscalculations. Jason's committed to matching donations, of course, dollar for dollar, as we know, up to $1 million. And there's obviously an anonymous donor pledging $400,000 privately to avoid public scrutiny, and GoFundMe's 2.9% fee. This donor is not from the paranormal community. All funds raised are dedicated to the Conjuring house, with refunds promised if the goal is not met, which is something that Jason has maintained throughout. There is also financial transparency and costs, so this is where it gets very, very juicy. But before we get into that, we need to talk about the property ownership and the legal structure. So the current owner is still Jacqueline Nunez, who still holds the legal title to this property. This is a confusing thing that people are starting to get misunderstood on. The house has not sold per se. The debt has been bought by a separate entity from the bank, which means they own that debt. The house title is still in the hands of Jacqueline Nunez. The new lender, of course, which is the people that purchased the debt, have purchased the mortgage debt pending a foreclosure process. Jason plans to place the property into a trust to protect it from being sold to developers or seized for medical debt, ensuring long-term preservation for public and educational use. Now, obviously, we talk about the financial side of things, because this is where it gets really, really interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Jason expects repair costs to exceed, of course, the GoFundMe funds, which is prepared to cover the shortfall, and he's prepared to cover the shortfall personally. We obviously know that the property's been left since December of last year, and nothing's been done with it since. It was already in a bad way, which is why it lost its business license, and then it's led to this. Financial records may be managed through the LLC or a trust for legal protection, but full transparency is challenged due to privacy concerns, and the property is intended to generate enough revenue to focus, through tours and events to cover operating costs and maintenance without excessive profiteering. And then there's obviously the community and preservation goals. Jason aims to balance the house's historical and paranormal significance, ensuring ghost hunting doesn't overshadow its historical value. He plans to include using the barn for educational exhibits on paranormal and scientific research, hosting community events, and maintaining affordable access. And this is where it gets really interesting. He has stated that he's hoping to get it as low as $50 to $70 per person for overnight investigations. Now, if we do some really quick maths, obviously, if we were to do a group of 8, for example, which is quite typical, let's do 10 for easy maths. A group of 10 people, that might only cost $500 to $700 instead of the once asked $2,500 that it was before. So $50 a head is significantly cheaper, and the goal is to make the property a self-sustaining with modest profits to cover emergencies, not to generate large personal profits. That is Jason's own wording there. Obviously, there is community concerns, which is also raised in this interview. So some worry donations imply partial ownership, with Jason clarifying it is not the case, as the GoFundMe donations are contributions without rewards. Jason addresses fears of the property being sold to developers, noting that he convinced a hedge fund company to back off from bidding to turn it into an expensive bed and breakfast, or most likely an Airbnb. There's also personal motivations, of course. So Jason, a father of 6 with 35 years experience in the paranormal field, sees preserving the Conjuring house as a community-driven legacy project, not as a business venture, and he emphasizes the affordability for paranormal enthusiasts to maintain the property's integrity for future generations going forwards. There's also transparency and communication. So Jason has never run a GoFundMe before, and was initially hesitant but was overwhelmed by the community support, raising over $30,000 with within the first 24 hours. He, of course, paused the campaign when he mistakenly thought the house was officially sold, resuming it with the clear communication to maintain trust. And then with regards to the future plans, the property will remain accessible for tours, investigations, and community events, with no plans to sell it for profit. And decisions about management, including his own daughter, of course, Satori Hawes, will be made collectively with key stakeholders like Jen, Corey, and Aaron, who have prior experience with the property. Now, obviously, I know a lot of people are looking at this being like, oh, Satori Hawes going back to with Cody and all the rest of it. Ultimately, right, whatever's best for the property, I suppose, and that's kind of the way that Jason sees it as well, is like, it won't be a decision that he's making right now. It's not a decision that he's even thought about. It's a decision that will come later on down the line with regards and will be addressed with future stakeholders. So Corey, Jen, who of course were the prior owners, Aaron, and a lot of other people. It was a very interesting episode, to say the very least. If you want to check out the full thing, of course, go down into the description where I'll have a link to Andrew Stonerock's full video. You can listen to it yourself. You can hear it from the horse's mouth, and nothing can be lost in translation that way. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. While you're down there, jump to give the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace!